Hey, what is up guys? So we are going to be taking a look at a few new Yu-Gi-Oh cards that are going to be coming out. I want to talk about its effectiveness against the meta, meaning, are these going to really see any play? Let's look at the realisticness of these cards, because some of these cards, they sound pretty good, but are they really going to be that good in a format where it's pretty much, just dominate your opponent as hard as possible, really fast? So, first off, we have Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Twilight. Man, when this card got announced, I was like, oh shoot, it's going to have some amazing effect, right? Let's go ahead and jump right into it. His effect is super long, but let's go ahead and get started. So he's got same attack defense as BLS, so it can't be normal summon or set, must be special summon from your hand by having equal number of light and dark monsters in your graveyard, and banishing all monsters of one of those attributes from your graveyard, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. While face up on the field, this card is also light attribute. When this card is special summoned, you can activate one of these effects depending on the attribute of the monsters banished for its special summon. You cannot conduct your battle phase during the turn you activate this effect. For a light, you get to banish one monster on the field face up. Dark, banish one random card from your opponent's hand face down until your opponent's end phase. So obviously he's kind of similar to Blackluster Soldier. I think his artwork is definitely cooler, but his effect is not so great. I mean, you have to banish all of one attribute. One downside to this card is I wish it had the effect of, while this card is in the graveyard, it's also light. That way you can really spam these cards out, because when this card comes out, it's going to be at 3. I don't think they're going to release this card, put it at 1 as soon as it comes out. But also has that downside of you can't conduct your battle phase, whereas BLS just has the effect of BLS simply can't attack. So I feel like there's a lot of downsides to this card, but I mean, if you're playing Chaos, definitely he's a great addition, because Chaos Sorcerer is now currently at 1. So let's go ahead and see the other Chaos cards that actually aren't released yet. There is Ebony Dragon and there's Ivory Dragon. We're going to briefly go over one of these. They basically have the same effect, but you special summon either the light or dark by banishing the opposite attribute. So if you have a dark in the graveyard, you just banish it to special summon it, and it has the effect of you can only special summon one of them once per turn, and then whenever it is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one of the Ebony Dragon. So basically they have this small little engine, they can cycle each other out, and you kind of maintain that field presence, which is pretty awesome in that aspect. But realistically, I don't think Chaos is seeing much play. The last Chaos deck that did really good was Chaos Dragons, and these are both dragons as well, so that's kind of cool. But the thing is, this card absolutely destroys any Chaos variant. It's like you can't play. Like, it's just, you set Raikou and that's pretty much your only out, and if they have Dress, well, you better hope you draw another Raikou, because otherwise you're going to be staring down Ophion that's going to say, nope, you can't summon any of your cards. So realistically, I don't think that this will see any play in the meta at the moment, unless there's some other support card that absolutely can destroy Ophion, or if maybe Evil Storms just fall out of favor simply. Next up, Pot of Duplicity. So, normal spell card. At the start of your main phase 1, target 3 monsters with different types in your graveyard, shuffle all 3 of them into the deck, and then draw 2 cards. You cannot conduct your battle phase during the turn you activate this card. So, kind of like a mini Pot of Avarice, but definitely has some downsides. Obviously, since you can only activate it during your main phase 1, that means as soon as your turn starts, you basically already have to have setup. And realistically, the way I look at it right now, it's a great card, don't get me wrong, but the game is pretty fast, and if you're going to activate this during your start of main phase 1, you've already kind of made some plays, and most of the decks that make, cards, I mean, if you're making Ophion, you're pretty much at advantage anyways, but the other downside is you can't conduct your battle phase during the turn you activate it. So obviously it has the downsides, but it's pretty easy to use. It's much easier to use than Pot of Avarice, obviously because it's, it has that low monster count. It's just 3. But since they do have to have they have to have a different type, it's actually pretty easy, because there's hand traps, that makes it pretty easy. So Scarecrow is more seen in like Elemental Dragons, but yeah, you can definitely run it in E-Dragons. I mean, these are also machines, so on spellcaster, so not that difficult to be able to use the Pot of Duplicity in that deck. But there's a lot more decks that can really utilize this. I would say out of most of the decks, Mermills probably can utilize it simply the most that are seeing play. Like, let's say Mermills is still pretty popular, as well as Evil Storms are really popular, and Mermill can use it pretty good, because Mermills is not a deck that always has to put aggressive stuff on board and go for battle phase. They can make an Abyss Gyos, which is a really nasty thing for a lot of decks to deal with. And look at these cards. I mean, we got an Aqua, we got Fish, we got Sea Serpents. They're all over the place, and there's so many varieties of different types in that deck. Also, Evil Storms, we got Rocks, we got Plants, we got Thunder, and we got Spellcaster. They are all over the place as well. Another deck would be like something like Windups. When your deck is all over the place, this card actually looks pretty good, but realistically, I think as far as the game goes right now, it's just a little bit too slow. But perhaps in the future, once the format slows down, I might see a little bit more play. Because, I mean, if you're playing E-Dragons, you really want to not be able to enter your battle phase, because pretty much every turn in E-Dragons, you almost have the potential to OTK most decks. Next up, we're going to be checking out this card, Itachi. It's a really cool card. I actually am more stoked about this card than anything, just because it's simply just, you know, random, and it looks pretty cool. It's a ferret with like a, I don't know, it's got like blades on its tail. It's pretty cool. But anyways, it's got 1700 attack, 600 defense, level 4, beast fire. So when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy that target, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So it reminds me of Snowman Eater, but he's got attack. Like, and what I really like about this card, it doesn't have to be destroyed by like battle or by card effect. It doesn't even have to be flipped or anything like that. And on top of that, you know, I know it's very mediocre right now, the fact that, you know, it's not affected by skill drain, obviously, because its effect activates in the graveyard. So that's just, you know, always, you know, small benefits definitely do help in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes. That small 500 damage can definitely make a game. I love this card. I wish there was like some type of engine that could really utilize this. I don't know if there's an archetype coming out for the ferrets. They should make a ferret archetype. But anyways, I like it because it's got attack, and it's not like a bad first turn summon. I mean, if you go first turn summon Itachi, what are most players going to do? Well, I mean, against, like, you know, rogue decks, I would say this card is just awesome because not only can you throw out a monster that has decent amount of attack on board, but whatever they summon, you're just going to be able to just destroy that, and then they take 500 damage on top of that. So I think that that is a really good card, especially against, you know, rogue decks. Unfortunately, it's not a rekindling target. I'm not sure if there's any decks that can really utilize this. I believe you can use it with Horn of the Phantom Beast, but, you know, maybe in the future we can see this card see some play, because to me, I think this is kind of like a different version of Snowman Eater. It's more of those just like pop one cards. You know, pop one of the problematic cards that are on the field. And on top of that, you get to inflict 500 points of damage. But more importantly, it's just that if your opponent activates something like Dark Hole, you can still get its effect. And there's actually a pretty cool combo with this card. Let me go ahead and show you guys the combo. So, basically, it requires you to have one Summoner Monk and multiple spell cards in your hand. So you summon the first Summoner Monk, and then you go Summoner Monk into Summoner Monk and to Itachi, and then you overlay 2 of the Summoner Monks into a Diamond Direwolf, and then use Diamond Direwolf's effect, and you just have to pop a Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast type, and you get to destroy one other card on the field. So what you do is you activate Diamond Direwolf's effect, you pop Itachi, then Itachi's effect will actually activate because it doesn't miss timing or anything like that, and you get to target one face-up monster your opponent controls, and you get to destroy it, and then you inflict another 500 points of damage. So basically, Diamond Direwolf will pop 2, well, Diamond Direwolf plus this will pop 2 cards, and then you can inflict 500 points of damage. So that's not bad at all. That's just a simple combo using this card plus, you know, Diamond Direwolf. I think this card's pretty cool, and like I said, I'm most excited about this card. But like I said, I find these cards to be okay, but like I said, against the meta right now, I mean, is there really room in Elemental Dragons to run this card? Is there room in Evil Swarm to run this card? Or is there even room in Mermails? I mean, Mermails are pretty tight on room right now, especially because they're trying to fit in those max Cs to combat those Elemental Dragons. But the way I look at it now, currently as the meta stands, I don't think that they'll see much play at the moment, but who knows, in the future, once everything, you know, slows down. Also, one thing I want to mention, spellbooks can't really utilize Pot of Duplicity that well. I mean, yeah, they do have Valor, but Valor is also a spellcaster, unless they're playing max Cs or something like that. But generally, I'd say spellbooks kind of, they got the boot on the Pot of Duplicity. It's going to be very difficult for them to use that. But I mean, yeah, there's still Draco's Tag, there's still Big Eye that they can technically make. But like I said, I find the card just to be a little bit too slow. But if you guys know any combos or other decks that can really utilize some of the cards we talked about, let me know in the comment section below. But thanks for watching, guys. Asian Eyes, signing out.